Happy holidays, Colts Nation, guys. Welcome back to the Blue Stable Podcast. As always, guys, the official Colts podcast of Fansided. Shout out to them. Happy to be here. Happy to be representing you guys. Man, what Christmas night. And I've been saying it for a while. Don't screw up my Christmas. Don't ruin my Christmas. Don't mess it up. Rashad, I've been saying it. Rashad is back with us tonight, guys. I've been saying it for a while. Don't mess it up. Don't. And sure enough, it did it, man. Before we get into the football, man, how's Christmas?
Oh, man, Christmas is awesome, man. Got to spend Christmas with my family. We stayed indoors due to the COVID spike that's going on as we see it running rampant in the NFL. More on that later. But, yeah, man, we decided to stay in. This is my son's second Christmas. First Christmas, he could really run around and tear things up. And he still don't know what's going on yet, but he sure know how to destroy wrapping paper. So, I know Baby Dustin, shout out to Baby Dustin. He don't know what it's like yet, but by this time next year, he'll be running around doing the same thing my son doing. Dustin, you have that to look forward to. Don't even waste time wrapping stuff, man. He's going to destroy it. 0.2 seconds.
There you go. Hey, man, I got to see my new nephew.
Oh, wow.
My new nephew, Mateus, man. It was so awesome.
I like
man.
that.
He was so small. Just getting to meet him for the first time, trying to already convert him to a Colts fan. Because my brother.
I saw you laying down with him you had the phone right in front of his face.
Yeah.
I said that's so Mike like. That's you. That's you.
Exactly. Because I know his dad is gonna tell him all kinds of crap about this sorry ass team in Dallas, and I'm like, nah, I can't have that, man. I can't set him up. But when it comes to Baby Destin, when it comes to Baby Rashad, man, Uncle Mike, he's got to get y'all set up with some TCU gear and some TCU gear. We got to get y'all set up, everything, man. Just so y'all know, Rashad Destin, y'all will have some packages coming in the later months coming ahead with some TCU gear, TCU baby gear and everything. Maybe even a TCU mat to put in the baby room. All I know is that if I paid for it, you better use it. So, all right. So anyway,
don't waste people money. That's one thing I don't do. I don't waste people money. If you thought enough to get him something, we'll put it to use. We may change his diaper on it, but we'll put it to use.
we'll give it the dog's bed. That's what we do. But anyways, guys, Christmas, it was good, man. It was good. I hope everyone had a good Christmas. Everybody just had a good time, some good food as always. But there was also something that happened on Christmas, okay? And there was, I don't know about anybody else, but I've said it for a while. How truly will NBA and NFL compete with each other? Like, if it came down to it, what would you watch? I'm going to be honest. I did not watch a single second of NBA Christmas. I didn't watch
not 1 second.
I didn't watch 1 second. I even forgot that my Dallas Mavericks were playing. I completely forgot. And they were the last game of the night. And we suck this year. So I'm just like, okay. So Luka's hurt. KP's coming back. But we're COVID everywhere. We're not going to win. So
I was going to watch basketball until you put that hex on my basketball team. So you just made me decide not to watch it. Mike has cursed my team. Mike cursed my team on Twitter. Dude. And they haven't won a game since.
Hey, man, that is something I'm going to point out. It was the night where the night of the Patriots, I predicted the Colts would win 27-17. Someone said, okay, what's your next prediction? I said Lakers won't win the rest of their games this week. And they lost 5 games this past week, including Christmas. That's God, man. Look at God. Look at God working, And hey, Rashad, I told you from the beginning, it wasn't going to work with Russell Westbrook. I told you from the beginning.
You did. You called that.
And I've been hey, as much as you want to keep saying I got one thing right, I have been balling this year. Okay.
Mike got 2 predictions right.
No, not 2 predictions, because our good friend Destin Adams and you this offseason were Kenny Golladay this, more so Destin on Kenny Golladay. Okay. Kenny Golladay this, Kenny Golladay that. And then both of them, Kadarius Toney this, Kadarius Toney that. In week 16, right tackle of the Cowboys, Terrence Steele, has more touchdown catches than Golladay and Toney combined. Damn.
See, that's why I love draft season, because you so conveniently forget that you said Xavier Collins was going to be defensive rookie of the year, and he's not even starting right now.
Yeah,
he's not even starting right now.
Hey, man, I honestly thought he was, because there was all that drama going on between Jordan Hicks and the Cardinals, and they eventually figured that stuff out. And honestly, man, Jordan Hicks, who would you start, Jordan Hicks or Xavier Collins? I'll go Jordan Hicks.
He's a baller. He's a baller, man.
He's straight up baller
this year. Yeah.
I love, throwing some of those shots back at you and Destin, just like y'all throw them at me, and it's all good fun. But I just want to let Destin know, his babies of the offseason are trailing a right tackle in touchdown catches combined.
That's hilarious. That is
hilarious. Okay, and I'm pretty sure when Destin comes back, we're gonna spend a whole entire episode of him responding to everything we've said over the past
over the past. Oh yeah.
Over the past. He's gonna come. We're not even gonna talk football.
I was about to say that.
Guys, getting back into the groove of things of what the show is supposed to be. The Colts played on Christmas. They beat the Cardinals. Even the Browns and the Packers showed up. And to my point earlier, when it comes to NFL Christmas, NBA Christmas, I didn't watch a single second of NBA Christmas, because I think when it just comes down to it, everybody is going to choose football. Regardless, even if the Lakers were playing, they were still watching the Packers. A lot of people were still watching Colts and Cardinals. And I got to say, man, the exposure Indy is getting, these primetime games, Hard Knocks, it really, really makes me happy that people are actually learning our players' names. Like, if you asked Teddy Bruschi last year to name all 11 starters, he couldn't do it. But now this year, right now, tonight, if you asked him, he could do it. He even knew what EJ Speed's name was. So it was a marvelous night, man. Marvelous night. The Colts get it 22-16. One of the topics that we got to talk about coming out of this game, Frank Reich. Frank stinking Reich.
Talk about it.
Show me a better Coach of the Year candidate. Show me a better one. Show me a better one, please. I mean, Bill Belichick, we beat them. Okay, they've had
Mike Vrabel has a case.
Mike Vrabel has a case. All the COVID, all the they even added more COVID cases today. I believe Julio Jones, Bud Dupree, a couple of marquee names. Mike Vrabel, Frank Reich. Hell, I would probably even maybe put Brian Flores in there with Miami Dolphins.
The run he's making, this run he's making, if he gets a win tonight, if he even misses the playoff, like by maybe a slot or two, I think he'll have a shot. He'll have a decent chance.
Yeah, I think if you don't make the playoffs, I just think that's the way voters think. If you don't make the playoffs, we're not going to vote for you.
I don't think he'll win it if he missed the playoffs, but I think he'll at least get consideration.
Yeah. But for Frank Reich, man, starting 1-4, having the injuries, having the COVID, all that stuff, climbing out of a hole. Now you've beaten San Francisco. You've come back and destroyed Buffalo. You came back and beat New England, and you beat Arizona on their home field, in their building. All of that. You're resurrecting Carson Wentz. This offense is humming. I mean, show me a better candidate. And maybe, in my opinion, or in my prediction, national brands suck. And Frank Reich probably won't end up getting it. It'll probably go to Mike McCarthy, or it'll probably go to Matt LaFleur, or it'll probably go to Bill Belichick. Somehow, some way. But Frank Reich needs to be in the consideration for this award. And he needs to be at the top of this award. He has to. He has to. I mean, everything I just listed. And after Saturday, one thing I've always noticed about this team as the season has gone on, remember the last two games, including Arizona and against New England, all the penalties Arizona and New England made that cost them. But yet Indy hasn't suffered penalties, committed penalties that hurt them. I realized that Saturday night. I'm like, these teams keep committing penalties, but Indy's not. They're disciplined. they're just smart, man.
Yeah. For Frank Wright to survive all the adversity that the team was going through after the 1-4 start. I'm sorry. People were saying that he need to give up play calling. People asking for Marcus Brady to call plays. He's never called plays at an NFL level. It was ridiculous at that time. Me and you, I'm proud to say me and you stood on the front of that was ridiculous then when it was happening. And we also pounded the table and saying Frank Wright is a top 5 offensive schemer, offensive mind, play caller in the NFL. I stand by that. I said it then, and I'm doubling down on it now. That New England victory was big, and it probably was the biggest regular season victory of the Frank Wright era, just based off who New England is, where they were seated at the time, and the rivalry that used to be. But I can argue with you that this Arizona Cardinals victory is more impressive than that one, just because of all the people that was down and how many people he needed to step up in that situation. And I don't want to go down the list of the rabbit hole because we're going to talk about a lot of this. So I'm just going to save that part of it. But if you don't have Frank Wright as a top 3 candidate, top 5 candidate, then your list is pretty much invalid in my eyes. I'm not being biased. Hopefully the Hard Knocks will bring a lot of the spotlight to Frank Wright and acknowledge the things that he's doing. People are starting to notice. We're getting more national attention than we've ever gotten for his Pro Bowl recognition, for his player recognition, now the coaching staff. And I see a push for Chris Ballard as executive of the year, which is undoubtedly a top 3 guy as far as what he's done with this roster, the depth he's put on this roster. And it was all on full display on Christmas Day. And that's the part I love, because everybody from Chris Ballard to Frank Wright to Carson Wentz to Jonathan Taylor to EJ Speed to Jaleel Adai, all those guys gets highlighted in this victory because all of them were needed for this victory, and the way they pulled through and came together. Man, I'm so excited for Hard Knocks this week. It's going to be awesome.
And not even that. He already has a protege looking to be in the playoffs in Nick Sirianni. I mean, everything that Nick Sirianni learned under Frank Reich. And remember, everybody wanted to mock him, criticize him, make fun of him over a press conference. And let me just say, press conferences don't win championships. They don't win games. They don't even make the playoffs. Going out there and performing does. And I mean, and I was talking about this with someone on Twitter. Oh, has he had a marquee win? No, he hasn't come out and beat like the Patriots or beaten the 49ers or something like that. But what they're doing is winning when they're supposed to. And they're playing some good football. I mean, the roster and the quarterback that he has, given all that, they're in the playoffs right now. They're positioned as the 7th seed and looking to stay there. So Frank Reich, I mean, you're seeing it. Something special is going on with this team right now. Something special and a belief not only in Frank Reich, but in this whole entire locker room in Indy. They believe in one another. They stand with one another. This is what you want. And yeah, we talk about who should be avoided. I mean, who is hotter than the Colts right now? I mean, if you wanted to put Kansas City in front of them, I'll accept it. I'll accept it. If you want to put KC 1, Colts 2, okay. But other than that, who is hotter than the Colts right now? Going on, 3 straight wins, 2 more games coming up. Raiders are going to be streaky. We'll talk about that later on in the week. But it's great to say, man. It is great to say. We're going to get a little bit before we get into the good, the bad, the ugly, like we always do after every game, guys. COVID is hitting the Colts. All right. Now, we're not going to get into all these, childish, ridiculous debates on who shouldn't be vaccinated. We're not going to entertain any of that crap. All right. But we're going to talk about it because it is a story within the team that is affecting the team. So going into this year, let me pull it up right here. I already have the list in front of me. Going in to Saturday night, let me see here. We already had Quentin Nelson. We already had Mark Glowinski, Rocky Sin, Kamoko Toure, Zach Pascal, Kari Willis, Darius Leonard. Those names, I mean, you think about those names and what they mean to this team. they were gone. And a couple of them were literally gone right before the game. So you already got hit right there. Imagine, I'm going to go down the list again. We're going to go Darius Leonard, Kari Willis, Zach Pascal, Quentin Nelson, Mark Glowinski, Rocky Sin, Kamoko Toure. Ryan Kelly is gone right now, so that, that adds into what a loss is as a player. And it is expected that he might be back in the building this week. Now, is he going to play? I have no idea. The Colts are still standing by him if he needs more time. Take more time after the tragedy that struck the Kelly family. Of course, our thoughts and prayers are with Ryan and Emma. Those are the COVID. But then added on today is right tackle Braden Smith, corner TJ Carey, Marlon Mack, Jahi Adai, and linebacker Malik Jefferson. The Colts are getting hit with COVID right now. Where is it coming from? I don't know. This was one of my fears, having a bye week late into the season, and now you're having almost an outbreak going on. You missed a lot on Saturday, and you prevailed. What does that mean going forward? The Colts have got to get this under control, because right now, okay, but when you get to the playoffs, you're going to need every single one of these. So Frank Reich did say that they're going to do a lot of virtual meetings, which basically, when we usually see on Hard Knocks, everybody's in the meeting room, whether if it's offense, defense, special teams, everybody's in there. That's not going to happen. They're going to have virtual, but they will have practice. I mean, of course, you're going to have practice. You got a game plan, go through all your strategies and everything. But in terms of the meetings and everything, everybody is going to be virtual. So that's a good sign. They're getting ahead of it and trying to slow it down. That's the good thing. I'm not going to, entertain, I guess you could say, oh, well, Carson's unvaccinated. What is that? I'm not going to get into that. I'm not going to get into that. It is affecting the Colts right now, but it is expected that we're going to get a few of those guys back from the COVID list, get them back for this week. There is a new protocol being worked on for COVID. I don't know what the details are going to be. Probably going to be a shortened quarantine, which could lead to some guys probably maybe even being more available this week for the game. I don't know yet. We got to get the details when they come out. That way we can talk about it very accurately. So before we jump into the good and the bad and the ugly, Rashad, COVID, it's hitting the team right now, but get into the playoffs, they got to get it under control.
Yeah, man, and that's something you're much like me with this. We kind of don't get into the COVID thing because that bleeds over into politics, and then it goes into people really voicing their opinion or getting angry at other people over their opinions. And we're always on the side of do what's best for you and your family first. So that's where I stand at with COVID. But apparently, from the looks of it, the NFLPA right now and the NFL is discussing new rules that is going to reflect off what the CDC just announced, in that it's now, once you get COVID, it's a 5-day quarantine now. So hopefully the NFL and the NFLPA is able to do this safely. But if they can get the rules changed from a 10-day, which it was basically 2 games guaranteed you were going to miss if you were unvaccinated. I heard they're getting it down to 5 games now. 5 days now, I'm sorry. So if you're only missing 5 days, then Big Q, Darius, all those guys will be back. Pretty much the whole offensive line really will be back before, except, with Braden, I think Braden got put on today, right? So 5 days, I think he'll be back. I think he'll make it back just in time for Sunday.
Yeah, he'll be activated on Saturday.
Yeah, he'll be activated on Saturday. So everybody pretty much that has been diagnosed will be back. And the one thing I can say is, once they had it, you won't get it for another, 3 months, I believe the time is now,
something
90
like that,
days, yeah. 90 days, something like that. So maybe the outbreak, has came at the right time if it was going to happen at any other time. And the fact that you was able to pull that Cardinals victory off is even more massive now, because just in case those guys can't go and you drop one to Vegas, all you have to do is go into Jacksonville and handle your business. And I don't want to hear anything about the Colts having won in Jacksonville since 2014. If this is a different team and this is a team that's want to make a statement in the playoffs, they got to go in a situation like that and get it done if they need that game. But just on the COVID front, hopefully Mike's sipping on something over there. He's showing me. Hopefully it's a legal substance, and it's nothing. It's nothing he don't have any business drinking. But nah, man. The COVID situation, the Colts have to get it under control before this week. Big game against Vegas. And I think the Colts will win that game. And I think they'll get that situation under wraps. But if I'm the Colts, most importantly, I'm keeping Carson as far away from that facility as possible right now. The live reps, I know he can miss a few live reps at practice. Just send him the footage, go over the game plan with him in detail, spend lots of hours on Zoom. But I'm keeping him far away from that facility.
Yeah, I think Frank Reich already came out and said they're not going to go overboard with protecting. Specifically, he named Carson. I think he was asked about Carson, actually. And he said, no, we're not going to go anything overboard for that. Of course, they're not him, Sam, Brett. They're not going to be like together. They're going to be separate,
together,
6 feet apart and all that stuff. And I really just got to, I guess you could say harp on something. Earlier today, the Titans announced that they had a few players hit the COVID list, and I saw a few Colts fans be out there. Oh, yes, they're going to be missing this person, this person, this person. They're not going to play, our chances or whatever the case may be. I really don't even wish COVID on anyone just to miss a game and try and help our chances of a division. I don't wish that. So
I'm with you.
If we could not wish that on Twitter, if we cannot be happy about that on Twitter, that would actually go a long way, honestly. That's just my opinion.
I mean, class always wins out, man.
Right.
Like,
Definitely. Hey, look, Frank Reich is about to win the Coach of the Year award with class and all that love that he is getting right now. So getting into the good, the bad, the ugly, guys, we got to start it off with the player. The questions surrounding this player all year, maybe even the last 2-3 years, ever since the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl without him. And the questions have been up ever since. And they have just grown larger and louder over the years. Carson Wentz, getting into him, look, he started off the game good, okay? But, of course, we're going to talk about the fourth quarter. We're going to talk about the fourth quarter. We're going to hit on something a little bit on him later in the show, but we'll table that. But talking about the good, the throws were timely. He played good. There were some things, of course, that he made it rocket science and instead of just simple quarterbacking. And I'm just sitting there. I'm just like, it can't be this hard to be a quarterback. It really can't, because some of the things were just so simple to see, so simple to notice, and he just didn't do it. But regardless, when we needed it, and we've been asking the question, I have even brought the question up on the show, even when we're hot, when we were winning, I've brought it up. Carson Wentz is going to have to do something. He is going to have to put a team on his back, and he's going to have to win it. He's going to have to. The defense has done its part. Jonathan Taylor's done its part. The special teams have done its part. Carson Wentz is going to have to throw in that game. And when I say that game, man, people are just so damn picky with this guy. They want him to have 45 completions out of 50 attempts, 450 yards, and 5 touchdowns. That's what they want to see. Like tools and clowns like Ryan Clark and Warren Sharp and Jeff Schwartz running their mouth, who have never played quarterback before. They're sitting there saying, oh, he still can't do it. You just asked him and begged him to show you what he can do in the clutch when the game is on the line and everything is on his shoulders. What can he do? He just did it, and you're still asking questions. He did it with a no-name receiver. He found a no-name receiver that nobody knows outside of Indy.
Right.
And he hit him in stride.
That was a beautiful.
That was a beautiful throw. That was probably his best throw of the year. And somehow people aren't satisfied, but I'm hella satisfied. The entire night, and I was tweeting about it. I'm not going to read y'all those tweets because, damn, that was going to sound bipolar. But it was on and off, but when it needed to be, he was on. He anticipated. He made throws. He made timely throws, took command of the game, and won the game.
Carson Wentz, man, outside of a backwater, which we'll get to, Carson Wentz, it's 18 for 28, 225 yards. He was averaging 12.5 yards per completion. Like, for those of you that don't know, that's pretty good. 2 touchdowns, no intercepts. He was sacked a couple times, which wasn't his fault. He wasn't holding on to the ball for a long time. He missed a couple of reads, yeah. But I think Carson Wentz, and this is my take on this, and nobody will say it, but I'll say it. People, pundits, media people that follows Indy, they overanalyze Carson Wentz. There is a thing as overanalyzing a person. When you nitpick, when you find problems, yes, he's not the most mechanically sound quarterback. Sometimes he uses improper technique. But I want you guys to know that touchdown dime he threw, it wasn't proper mechanics. He threw it off 1 foot, sidearm, getting hit. And it was a dime. Carson Wentz is volatile. I will tell you that in a heartbeat. He's going to scare you, but he's also going to make plays that only about maybe 5 to 6 guys in the NFL can make from time to time. And that throw was one of them. Like, that was an absolute dime that he threw. And Carson Wentz can't do that, man. He's that talented of a guy. He's a big, strong guy, and he is a playmaker, man. Sometimes it comes back to bite him in the ass, and we just have to live with that. But the quicker you guys come to realize who he is as a player and his shortcomings and what he does well, then the quicker you'll be able to accept that this team has a lot higher ceiling now that he is the quarterback than it did a year or two ago. Because Carson Wentz has the ability at any given time, like Mike said, it doesn't have to be 45 completions. He don't have to go 30 for 38 or 30 for 35 for 496 yards. It's just not the type of guy he is. Although he has thrown for over 400 yards against Baltimore earlier in the season. He has that ability, but that's not his role on this team. I don't get how you guys want him to throw for 300 or 400 yards, but in the same breath, you're screaming, run the damn ball every play. Like, which one is it? We can't have 40 carries in a run game and 45 passing attempts. Like, NFL doesn't work like that. It's either one or the other. If you want him to run the damn ball and have Carson make a few plays in a game, which I think is the recipe to win against certain teams, some teams are going to take the run away, and we just have to live with that and trust Carson, that Carson's going to go out there and deliver. And in that Arizona game against a top 5 pass defense, that's what nobody else is mentioning, a top 5 pass defense, he went out there and performed. He made all the throws he needed to make. He resurrected T.Y. Hilton. He hit Desmond Patman, guys. He's using Desmond Patman, got Ashton Doolin, people nobody knows outside of Indianapolis. So just cut the man some slack. He even got Mo Alley Cox involved. Mike, did you see that?
Bro, I let out the biggest joy of relief when he caught that ball. Legitimate. I was sitting down, and when Mo caught the ball and started running down the sideline, I jumped up and I said, he caught it.
Mo looked so confused running that ball down the sideline.
He looked so damn confused. Where the hell do I go? Where do I go? Where's my forward at the 3-point line? Oh, no, damn, this is football. I can't pass it. Dude, it is crazy. Look, I really hate that people keep going back and forth. And this is something I got to ask, man. I got to ask this question. All right. We keep asking, can Carson do it? Can Carson do it? Can Carson do it? Can Carson do it? Can he do this? Can he bring a team to win? Can he bring a team to do that? He turns the ball over too much. He puts the ball in harm's way, but yet he has less turnovers than Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Joe Burrow, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson. He has less interceptions than those guys. What has Lamar Jackson won? What has Dak Prescott won? What has Kyler Murray won? What has Josh Allen won? Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, they get that pass because they've won a championship. But
Carson Wentz right now is projected to finish with the lowest interception rate in Indianapolis Colts history. But you ain't hear that from me.
Right. So which argument are we going to choose? Again, I'll ask the question. I'll say it again. He has less interceptions than Aaron Rodgers. No, not Aaron Rodgers. He has 4.
No.
He has less interceptions than Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, Dak Prescott, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Lamar Jackson, Ben Roethlisberger. I mean, the list goes on, guys. If y'all really want to get into this conversation, we can. I would love if ESPN or anyone ever did, we can bring a fan on and we can debate any topic you want. I want to debate which argument do you want to choose for Carson Wentz, because you can't have it one or the other. We keep asking. Dan Orlovsky has said time and time again, the Colts, the Colts, the Colts. People like Ryan Clark and Mina Kimes, I just don't trust the quarterback. Oh, well, what has he done? What the fuck has Dak Prescott done in his career? What has Kyler won in his career? What has Josh Allen done? What has Lamar Jackson done? What has Joe Burrow won? What have they done? What have they won? Dak Prescott been in the league 5 years. Where's his NFC Championship appearance? Where's his Super Bowl appearance? Kyler, where's his playoff appearance? Where is it at? But we keep questioning Carson Wentz. Really? Really?
Uh-oh.
He grabbed 3 cashiers from Popeyes and led them to the playoffs in 2019 in Philadelphia. He grabbed a dude that made Philly cheesesteaks and said, here, you play tight end, just catch the ball if I throw it to you. And he led them to the playoffs. But yet we keep asking this question, but every time I turn on the TV, Dak Prescott this, Kyler Murray this, Joe Burrow this, Lamar Jackson this. I keep hearing these names, and I sit there and say, Kyler Murray has more interceptions than Carson, but less touchdown passes than Carson. At 20-10. Do we really want to have this conversation? Pick your arguments and stick with it. That's all I ask. Now, another argument that I've always stuck with, Rashad, I told you, don't get scared. He'll be back. He'll return.
It took him long enough.
He's not taking a break. He's not. I told you, game plan. Some of it is on his part. A lot of it was on Carson Wentz. Sorry, guys, I just hit the computer. A lot of it was on Carson Wentz not hitting him in stride. But I told you, Michael Pittman will be back. And what do you know? Time after time, catch after catch, timely catch after timely catch. 8 catches, 82 receiving yards. Michael Pittman putting on a good show. He didn't put on the show, but he put on a show. In the games that you needed, can your guys step up? And that's what they did. Michael Pittman, there's even a video going around where I think it was on 3rd and 2. Carson Wentz ran up into the pocket to run for it. Isaiah Simmons, who is a freakish athletic linebacker, covering Michael Pittman. Michael Pittman fakes like he's getting the ball thrown to him, leads him outside, and basically luring a defender away from Carson, clearing a path. How many times I got to tell y'all he built for this? How many times I got to tell y'all he been around the league? But yet people told me we needed Kenny Golladay. People told me we needed to draft Elijah Moore. I keep trying to tell y'all. He's back. He ain't going anywhere. He'll lead us to the promised land.
Dustin. Mike is never going to let you live that down, Dustin. Just so you know, he's not going to let you live that down. But Mike, we do need another receiver. So we're not going to act like we don't. You know, Carson was able to resurrect T.Y. More on that later. But Michael Pittman has finally came back around. I got to say back around because he balled out in the first half of the season. went to kind of a slump, couple of games, but he kicked it back up in high gear this past game against the Arizona Cardinals, man. Working on Byron Murphy. We needed that type of performance. He had to be an alpha dog. Carson Wentz targeted him 12 times. He caught 8 of those balls. That's number one receiver type of production. 8 for 82. That's over 10 yards per catch. Productive game. Michael Pittman was going for first downs every time he was catching passes earlier in the season. We saw that same thing happening this week. Michael Pittman, you're a dog, man. And it's a good way to respond after you got ejected out of a game that you never should have got ejected out of in the first place against the New England Patriots, which the league came back and corrected and said Kyle Duggar was fine. Michael Pittman was not. T.Y. Hilton was not for pushing a referee there. He had no idea it was a referee.
He didn't even push him down. He got tripped up.
Yeah,
and absolutely. He reached out for T.Y.'s arm while falling down.
So Michael Pittman, extremely productive, man. We needed that. You didn't get in the end zone. I actually thought that was you that caught that touchdown pass in the back of the end zone. That was Patman. I just didn't expect to see Patman in that situation. I thought it was Michael Pittman, but I was just glad to see you get back to form, man. You was getting good separation off the line of scrimmage, and I was surprised to see the old Michael Pittman back, the Michael Pittman from week 1 and week 2 and week 3, the one who was actually separating at the top of routes, making contested catches, catching with his hands, not allowing the ball to get to his body. He went back, worked on some things, refined his route running. Michael Pittman is back, man. Hopefully that transfers over to the next game, and when we go into town and play the Las Vegas Raiders.
Exactly. I keep trying to tell y'all, he's okay. He's okay. Just give him time, and he'll do it. So, obviously, Michael Pittman back. Got to talk about Jonathan Taylor. All right, I gotta stress this enough. Now, I'm not gonna be as excited for him. We got to stop being such a run heavy team. We have to. I'm not sure if it was just me. I'm not sure if I was just seeing things, but Jonathan Taylor looked exhausted. He looked gassed. And the fact that we're not even giving carries to Nahim Heinz or a healthy Marlon Mack, who was active for this game, is so puzzling to me. That's what's puzzling to me. Why aren't we using these guys? Why aren't we even getting Nahim Heinz involved? Honestly, that's a question that is really starting to like irk my nerve. Like, we paid this guy. Why are we not drawing plays up for him? Jonathan Taylor is tired as hell. Bring Marlon Mack, who is healthy as a baby. Go and give him some carries. Give Jonathan Taylor a breather. I have been saying it. Do not turn into the Tennessee Titans and run Jonathan Taylor into the ground. Don't do it. Please, for the love of God, don't do it. There are going to be those games where you have to. But doing this week after week after week after week, and then when Jonathan Taylor gets to extension time and you cough up that money, we've seen it with Zeke. Cowboys ran him. Now he's suffering injuries. Now people are saying he's stealing money from Dallas. Now people are saying, man, he's getting overpaid. Protect Jonathan Taylor, please. He was still balling. He still made a 2-yard loss into a first down on like 3rd and 4.
Mm-hmm.
Think about that. He had a 2-yard loss and then got a first down on 3rd and 4. He's still special now. But seeing him out of breath kind of just aggravated me a little bit, because I'm like, we have 2 other running backs. Let's use them, please. Scotty Montgomery, get a sub in.
Well, I think one thing you can say about this, and Jonathan Taylor did pop a 40-yard run on the first play of the game. So one thing I want to say is that, which is why I don't mind he had the heavy workload this week and the week before, was that Frank Wright did such a good job of managing his touches in the first half of the season to allow him to be a little bit stronger on the back end of the season. I think when everybody was in an uprage about Jonathan Taylor remember for about the first 6 weeks, he didn't have over 16 touches in a game, and everybody was in outrage. Like that's where the whole run the damn ball thing kind of kicked back in, and people were saying Frank Wright needed to be fired and give up play calling because he wasn't running Jonathan Taylor enough. And I remember you were saying back then that you didn't want to see him get too many touches because of what might happen to him further down the road. But at this time, Mike, they're desperate. They're desperate to win games, and they don't feel like giving Marlon Mack carries. I know what it is. It's just because he doesn't have the explosiveness anymore. Jonathan Taylor, any touch can turn into D-touch. And they always want that threat out there on the field. But I think as long as he's staying in the 25 touch territory, I think he's good. This week he had 27. He did look the big gas, but that could be he was working a hell of a lot harder behind that offensive line because he was out there with 4 guys and Braden Smith, you can say. So it's tougher to run the ball in that situation because we know the Arizona Cardinals run defense wasn't a good defense. It wasn't a good run defense, but they crowded the line of scrimmage. Carson saw 8-man boxes the entire game. He was playing single high, and they was daring the Colts to throw the ball. The Colts threw it just enough, but they stayed consistent with the run game and tried it, even though it didn't work for big majority of the game. Like I said, he finished with 107 yards, I believe, but 41 of that was on the first carry. So you could say essentially he had 26 touches for about 60 yards for the rest of the game. So that's not very effective, but they found a way to get it done. Nahim Heinz only had 3 carries. He only had 1 reception. The week before in the Patriots game, Nahim didn't touch it too much, but you remember he did score on the kind of the tweaked version of the Philly special that counted as a Carson Wentz touchdown pass. We'll take those cheapies every time we get a chance to. But I think they have to find a way to get Nahim Heinz the ball. You're right. He's being paid like a top 10 running back now. I don't know if people know that annually. He's making top 10 running back money. So we do have to find a way to get him the ball because he is a weapon and he's a unique weapon. Not many people in the league move the way Nahim Heinz moved and is that shifty and that quick in a short area. So we have to find creative ways to get him the ball. And I hope people notice that on that T.Y. Hilton touchdown, it was Nahim Heinz going in motion that shifted that defense. And when T.Y. ran across in the opposite direction, he was wide open. And that was created by Nahim Heinz. So I want to give him credit for that, man, because a great player always creates buckets for what we say about Luka. He's great, but when you're truly great when you create easy buckets for other people. And that's the type of player Nahim Heinz has been.
Oh yeah, baby goat, Luka Doncic. I got you.
Baby goat.
Yeah, there you go. White chocolate. Hey man, look, Jonathan Taylor. He's always going to be special, but please let's just slow our roll, please. But getting into T.Y. Hilton, the ghost of Christmas past. How about it? 4 receptions, 51 yards, a touchdown. What about that beautiful, beautiful catch and throw by Carson to T.Y. along the sideline to get us in business on the game-sealing touchdown drive? I mean, this is the most consistent T.Y. Hilton has played and been healthy in a while. I'll say. This is the most consistent he's played. And we're starting to see starting to get a little bit of a groove back in him, and we saw that on Saturday. T.Y., I mean, if we're really going to get to our ultimate goal, that's who he's going to have to be, is Michael Pittman's number 2. That's what he's going to have to be. He's going to have to step up. So I just can't say any more about it, man. We know what T.Y. Hilton represents, man. Made timely catches when we needed it. Touchdown, T.Y. Hilton. I even taught my girl how to do the T.Y. So because they were watching the game with me. So there you go. So guys, I was just happy to see T.Y. in the end zone.
Yeah, it was good to see T.Y., man. He got separation on that deep ball down the sideline. That was good to see. We haven't seen T.Y. get that kind of separation in a long time. And what's most important is T.Y. looked like he's having fun again, man. And that's really that's what it's all about when you're a player at this stage. You know, people's asking about retirement, and I'm sure he's going to get to that at the end of the season. But let him just enjoy the moment, man. He caught a touchdown. It was good to see him in the end zone. Hopefully, this game is going to spark something that we haven't seen in TY in a couple of years, man. Hopefully get back to being the TY that we know and love and get back to producing. Not going to keep you long on the TY topic because we kind of mentioned them throughout earlier when we was talking about the game so far. So that's how I feel about TY.
And guys, just so you know, in case you haven't gotten lost, we're still in the good. We still have a few more topics in the good portion of this game. Again, in this type of game, it is hard. It is hard to find bad and ugly in this game. Even after, if, like Zach Hicks said on Twitter, this is going to be an ugly game. And I tweeted back, Colts are built to win ugly games. I've said it time and time again. They are battle tested. They've been through the ring. They have been through all types of games, even when they didn't have Carson. So we still got a couple more topics on the good, all right? Just so you guys know. And the next topic is going to be our backup offensive line. Clearly, we knew going into the game, man, we're going to be without our 3 interior players, 2 Pro Bowl players, an all-pro player. And Danny Pinter gets his 3rd straight start. Quentin Nelson is out. Chris Reed goes to left guard. Big old Matt Pryor is at right guard. And man, they were doing a good job, honestly. They were doing a good job. I think the size of a Rashard Lewis finally got to a guy like Danny Pinter. You saw it a little bit. Couldn't contain that block. Couldn't kind of turn him and create a hole, a lane. Shout out to them, man. Shout out to them. Eric Fisher, definitely hope he's okay. He's my least favorite player on the team. I just think he almost ruined us. Again, he almost ruined us. A Byron Murphy pass interference saved us. He allowed another strip sack that Arizona recovered. Another one. But thankfully, Byron Murphy is stupid, and he committed a stupid penalty. And that bailed us out. So I kind of feel bad that I didn't feel bad when he got injured, because I'm just like, leave, go, leave. I don't even care. Go. But then I'm like, oh, wait, hold on. Nah, man, this is a grown man. Come on now. Got to root for him and everything. And Julian Davenport came in, and he did a relatively okay job on Chandler Jones. And top to bottom, man, this offensive line, given what they've gone through, all the changes, they had an okay game. They did have an okay game. Carson did get pressured. Budda Baker, one of the top safeties in the league, all over the place, blitzing. Braden Smith, I was shocked to see Chandler Jones even lined up across Braden Smith. Why are you not picking on Eric Fisher? Why are you not going at Julian Davenport? Thank God the DC in Arizona is stupid, and Cliff Kingsbury was stupid enough not to make that adjustment. So, oh my gosh. Shout out to these guys, man. They played their tails off. They fought. Chris Reed even got a little bit banged up. I don't even know who the hell stepped in. Will Fries is who stepped in. Shout out to them, man.
Yeah, man, it was a total team effort. Frank Wright even made the joke after the game saying he didn't think they had any other offensive linemen left. If somebody went down and they said it was putting Mo Alley Cox in on the offensive line, I know that would have made Mike happy, extremely happy to see Mo Alley Cox line up at guard. But this offensive line, man, one thing Chris Ballard said he failed the team with last year, I don't know if people remember in the exit interview, he said he failed the team on depth, on offensive line depth. So he went out, he signed some people. He signed Sam Tevy, he bought Holden back. He went out, got Julian Davenport. He went and got Matt Pryor. And, we laughed at a lot of those guys because we saw what those guys did as former starters in the NFL. And those guys was getting roasted. Davenport, they hated him and they made fun of him. Tevy, they made fun of him. Now, it's unfortunate Tevy went down with the season in the injury before the season can even start. But Davenport, he came in, man, he did his job. He didn't do anything spectacular, but he did well enough. He did enough. Danny Pinter has been playing solid in the place of Ryan Kelly. And again, our condolences to the Kelly family, man. That's a sad situation. We Frank Rice say they're expecting him back next week. Hopefully, he can come back and get and clear his head and get back in the football space. Whether he plays or not this week, it doesn't even matter to me, honestly. I just want him to get his head straight and be able to move forward with such a tragic loss. But speaking about the Matt Pryor, he's been good all season for us, man. In spots where we've needed him, when Braden Smith went down earlier this year, Pryor came in, was an ultimate professional, consummate professional. He played well. Chris Reed has been doing his thing, subbing in and out with Glow at periods of time. And Chris Reed's a dog. I think he'll be back. Frank Reich, I think, is going to prioritize him coming back. This whole offensive line, man, I know it's a lot of people that most people haven't heard of. The diehards like us, we watch these guys, we watch tape on these guys. As soon as these guys get signed or traded for by the Colts, we go back and do a lot of digging. And we see some flashes from these guys. And it's just good to see Frank putting those guys in situations to be successful. Because some of these guys have the talent, but just never was in a scheme or a situation that is really good for them or a good fit for them. But Frank Reich is doing a good job, man, of setting these guys up for success. And tons of credit to the offensive line coach getting those guys ready to go, man, at the drop of a hat.
And that is why he is the coach of the year. Flipping the script to the defense, and we're going to talk about maybe two names. Let's see it, man. We're going to talk about the defense, man. I got to shout out EJ Speed. I really do. EJ Speed, and what a story he is. He played quarterback, wide receiver in high school. He only got one offer, and that was to Tarleton State in Stephenville, Texas. That's like about a 2.5-hour drive from me. Stephenville is where Jarrett Stidham, quarterback for the Patriots, that's where he went to high school. Art Briles, former rape allower, he allowed his football players to rape women at Baylor University. He came from Stephenville. He was the coach there, and that's where he went to. Tarleton State. Played linebacker 1 year, then was drafted to the Colts. Played linebacker 1 year. Chris Ballard has experience and a history in the Southland Conference. He has that experience with Tarleton State. He comes in, thought of he's only a special teams guy, probably won't even make the roster. He's too raw, and he's making plays, man. He is making plays in the run and pass game. The depth he got on some routes, on some angles in pass coverage, the open field tackle he made on Zach Ertz to stop a first down. I got to commend this kid, man. No one knew who he was. Nobody did. I am in a group of TCU fans. We're big into recruiting and everything, and they were talking about it Saturday. Y'all remember this dude, EJ Speed? I mean, he played high school quarterback, and I never heard of him ever since, and he's in the NFL? I didn't know. And I'm like, thank you for proving that you really don't study teams. So, all right. He was all over the field, man. And that's just something that I love. Again, Colts, Chris Ballard, Executive of the Year, Frank Reich, Coach of the Year, Jonathan Taylor, MVP, Carson Wentz, come back. Well, no, he didn't get injured. I mean, you just got all kinds of Pro Bowlers. You'll have all pros. Matt Eberflus will go get a head coaching job, thankfully, and he'll go do that. By all means, do it. EJ Speed, I was so happy for him. So happy to see him play.
I just love what he's done, man. We know he was a freak as far as his size. Tall guy, 6'4". The guy can run. He's fast. He's athletic. Basically, he had a couple of redshirt years, where he just really got to learn the position, especially at the NFL level. And seeing Darius Leonard every day, what's a better way to learn than seeing Darius Leonard every day? you're definitely going to learn how to become a professional. You're definitely going to learn what hard work is. And hopefully you pick up on some of those instincts that Darius has. EJ Speed body type is phenomenal for that position. You know, he has the ideal size for a guy that you want running sideline to sideline and to finish with 9 tackles. You know, he got his hands on the ball, almost had a pick. He has the length and the speed to be a real playmaker. And what something I didn't know about him that he does well is he tackles really well in space. He's great in space. I definitely see a expanded role for him on this defense in the next year or so. This guy has been making special teams plays for us all season. He has two blocks, two block punt returns for touchdowns.
2 touchdowns.
He's 2 touchdowns. Yeah, he's an exceptional player, man. EJ Speed, I'm proud of the way you played, man. The performance you put on, your first start ever. You stepped up primetime football on Christmas Day. That's something special, and it's something you would never forget for as long as your career goes on. You can always tell somebody, I made my first start on Christmas Day against the Arizona Cardinals, and I balled out.
There you go. There you go. EJ Speed, what a great story. We're going to get into another one, and damn it, I'm talking about him. Ben Banogu. Ben Banogu out here making plays, causing pressures, making Kyler Murray step up into the pocket, going out there and running down the sideline with Chase Edmonds. No, you ain't catching shit on me. Did you see him out there? Did you see him? Chase Edmonds trying running a wheel route. Over here, Ben Banogu said, where your bitch ass going? Get over here. Chasing you down.
He got his hands on him, and he did a great job, man. I'm proud of it. I'm proud of it.
And this is what I asked. Now, I'm not going to act like, right tackle for the Arizona Cardinals is a world beater. I don't think they have a top 10 offensive line. They're okay. They're okay, but I don't think they're world beaters.
No.
But, I mean, I just want to understand why the hell he doesn't play more. We talk about that off air, but again,
right. I was about to say we discussed it off air.
But again, he's performing when he is actually given a chance. He had 3 pressures, forcing Kyler Murray out of the pocket or stepping up into the pocket. All of those plays, by the way, ended up in 3 incompletions. Just so you know. And yes, of course, I went back and watched those because I want to hype this guy up as much as possible. So,
absolutely. That's why I'm letting you have the floor right now.
There you go. So I had to talk about him. Dio Dangbo also had a good rush. Kwity Paye, I forgot I thought he was added to the COVID list. I did not see him all game. So I was just happy to see him out there playing, man. Had a few good rushes. The recognition when the Cardinals were on their last drive, the field goal drive, to make it 22-16, they were going to go to Edmonds. Ben Banogu had the recognition that, okay, this is my guy. And that was his guy. Or else it would have been a touchdown because George Odom was occupied. Xavier Rhodes was occupied with A.J. Green one-on-one outside. He would have been free. Ben Banogu chased him down, had good coverage. As long as you know what to do when you get out there.
I was just happy to see him in, man. We know he's been wanting the opportunity for so long, and I know you speak to him, Mike, so you know how passionate he is about the game of football, man. And I'm just glad to see him get an opportunity. And it was looking dark for Ben, in training camp coming into the season. I was afraid that he might be a casualty, but he hung in there, man. And he's hanging in there, and you never know what opportunities are waiting for you if you just continue to fight. And Ben is an example of that. He's a guy, man. He's a guy.
There you go. We're not going to spend too long on that, but the last good that we're going to get into is the secondary. The secondary, I can't speak enough about it, man. I mean, the job that this coaching staff has done with this team. I mean, we were even talking about sorry, I'm looking at my phone. I'm trying to get the name. I can never pronounce the linebacker's name right. for Indy. So I'm looking it up right now.
You said a linebacker?
Dave Bergonzi. I want to say. Dave Bergonzi, the job he did, especially with Zaire Franklin getting increased snaps as well. Bobby Okereke stepping up as the signal caller. EJ Speed playing that Darius Leonard role all over the field. You got Alan Williams, who a lot of people think will become our new DC if Matt Eberflus leaves for a head coaching job, hoping he does. And he will be the new guy that could possibly be the next DC. Alan Williams, the job that he has done, George Odom, Jahil Adai, Andrew Sendejo, even though he didn't play Saturday, the job that he has done with Julian Blackmon and Kari Willis out is second to none. And I got to talk. Y'all even remember, I was hyped about this hiring of James Rowe in the offseason. Wherever he goes, production follows. Isaiah Rodgers has stepped up. He has emerged as a number 3 corner. Number 2, number 3, whatever. Rock Ya-Sin is now a starting level corner. Xavier Rhodes, now that he's gotten a little bit healthy, a little bit time to get healthy, he's now returning to quality play. Kenny Moore, we all know what he represents. The secondary of the Colts, last night's defensive MVP for me was George Odom. He was disrupting passes. He was, oh my gosh, how he got over there when the ball was going to Christian Kirk on the corner route. The angle that he took was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. And this is why I've asked, why doesn't he get more safety play? The way he played against Kansas City in 2019 told me all I needed to know. He didn't get any reps in 2020, and I kept asking why. Why? Destin says, oh, he wants to play free safety. Colts don't think he can do it. Well, he's proven that he can do it. So let's not say that anymore, and let's stop being arrogant, and let's start playing guys where they need to be playing, a.k.a. Ben Bannigan. So talk about the secondary, Rashad.
Man, game ball for George Odom, man. I always thought even though Willis didn't play, I always thought he was a better fit on side of Willis. Willis to me is more of a box guy. Yes, he has the ability to, play boundary sometimes, play the post, but George Odom is a rangy guy, man. He has the speed to make plays in pass coverage. And I think Willis is a better fit around the line of scrimmage. You let him roam almost as another linebacker out there. And you leave George Odom over the top, man, and let him play in some of those deep halves. And we saw the way he played, the plays he made when you have no choice but to play him back there. You see the type of production you get from him. He was out there all over the place, man, sideline to sideline. And I saw the tip ball you was talking about on the corner to Kirk, and I tweeted, I was like, that's a play Sendejo don't make. And I love Sendejo. And Sendejo, it has a physical presence about him. He's a hard-hitting safety. He's great in the box. But those plays in pass coverage, he just can't make them. He just doesn't have the speed to make them. His instincts aren't there anymore. And George Odom needs more snaps. Point blank, period. When Willis comes back, I think George Odom should be the starter next to Willis. And shout out to Adai, too. He stepped up. He played well. They had him rushing the pass a lot. They were sending him on blitzes a lot in that game.
He was the reason why we secured the safety when the center botched the snap and he was on a free blitz. And thankfully he was there because Kyler may have had time to make a play.
Kyler makes magic out of those type of situations. We see it all the time. And I know you seeing Kyler, a Texas guy, you saw him make plenty of plays on broken plays and botch snaps, and he does those type of things. That's when Kyler makes his magic happens. So shout out to Adai, man. He stepped in, played well. I got a little relationship with him, met him when he played for the Chargers when my brother was coaching over there. He's a pretty cool guy. This secondary, man, Rodgers, other than he got beat deep. He did get beat deep. But other than that, man, he had some phenomenal reps. He played great. Rock Ya-Sin, we need you back, baby. We hopefully, you're resting, you're getting well, and you're able to beat this COVID thing. But Xavier Rhodes is rounding. He's starting to show flashes of what he looked like last year. And I think that's due to that calf injury finally looking like it's cleared up. We could see him grimacing earlier in the year. That thing never was right, man. That calf injury was never right, but he had a couple of weeks to rest, and they took him off the field. Rodgers got increased in snaps, which he deserved because he's playing absolutely phenomenal. Kenny Moore is – I just got to laugh, man, at some of the plays Kenny Moore makes. It's becoming routine. What he does in the run game, setting the edge, making tackle for losses. Kenny Moore, he leads the league in run stops at the cornerback position. I don't know if a lot of people know that. Well, but I do. Kenny Moore leads the league at cornerback for run stops in the NFL. He plays every position. He can play outside corner if we needed him to, but he's just so effective at what he does for us in the slot. We could never replace that type of production, so that's why he's there. He's the consummate professional. Fix your motherfucking tie. That's all I can say, man. Kenny Moore, shout out to him. The safeties played great. Corners played great. Eberflus, hell of a job. James Rowe, man. Whew. James Rowe, you're a true difference maker, man. What you've done with Rock, what you've done with Rodgers. Kenny was Kenny before you got here, but Rock and Rodgers are a direct testament of what you can do on a coaching level. And Mike, we talk about it all the time. We love to see our position coaches develop players. That's the main goal of a position coach, is to develop players. Late round draft pick, mid-round draft picks. That's when you earn your buck. And James Rose earned every single dollar.
Yeah, and Brian Baker has not, because he sucks. So we're still not seeing anything from these young rushers. But
Quiddy looked okay.
He looked okay. He looked okay. Ben Bandigood looked better. Start him over Quiddy.
Mm-hmm.
So look, I gotta give Matt Eberflus some credit. Hold on. Hold on. I gotta drink
I'll compliment Matt Eberflus.
You're doing a great job. From Cracker Barrel. All right. Go get it while it's hot. Okay, so I had a little throw up come up. Matt Eberflus has done a good job. All right. He has definitely been a hot name. Honestly, I think it's just for the better, and I'll take it. Okay. I really think it has more to do with Dave Bergonzi and James Rowe than it has to do with Matt Eberflus, honestly, because the development and preparation for these guys is just second to none. And Matt Eberflus, with all of the attention the Colts are getting, I would not be surprised if Matt Eberflus became a head coach, maybe took Press Taylor with him as the offensive coordinator, because he is also a hot name senior offensive analyst for the Colts. Matt Eberflus might snag him as a offensive coordinator, quarterback coach. Who knows? I am anticipating that, but he'll be a head coach this offseason, hopefully, in my opinion. We all know that I've been ready for a change. I still am. I still stand by that. I don't think the scheme is going to change, because this is Ballard's scheme. This is the scheme he wanted. If Alan Williams is going to take over, he's probably just going to run the same scheme as well. But at least, hopefully, there's a new way of preparation. There's a new way of development. There's a whole new wave coming in. I do think Alan Williams is a more physical type of approach. Hopefully that's the case. But Matt Eberflus has done well. You have faced some good quarterbacks, some good systems, and you have held them to 17 and 16 points, and you get credit for that. You get commended for that, because Rashad, going into the Buffalo game, did you think we would hold Buffalo, New England, and Arizona to 15, 17, and 16?
Hell no.
Hell no. And hey, no. You could say Arizona didn't have DeAndre Hopkins. They didn't have Rondale Moore. Hey, we didn't have Darius Leonard. We didn't have Julian Blackmon. We didn't have Kari Willis. We didn't have Rock Ya-Sin. We can say that as well. So it was pretty even. We did not have a preview show for this game. So I don't, I would have taken the Colts to win this game. I put it on Twitter. I would have chose 30-21. That one didn't happen. But my biggest point in why I believed in the Colts in this game, even when the late COVID news to Darius Leonard came, I've thought this in my head, even when he was hired for the head coaching job. I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is a good NFL coach. I really don't. I think he starts out hot and he doesn't adjust. He doesn't change it up. And DC's latch on to that and they prepare for it. And it just happens. And I even tweeted out last week, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is the leader that Cardinals need to lift them out of this slump. All that same old college stuff you were running at A&M, you were running at Texas Tech, that doesn't work in the NFL. That doesn't if you run it week in and week out. It doesn't. Rashad, you know your brother is an actual coach in the league. You need to change it up. And he hasn't. And you've noticed it. This offense is, in my opinion, I don't know if it's just me, but they look like they're running the same stuff. There's nothing too much different. There's nothing. So for those reasons, I would have thought, even when it was an ugly game, I thought to myself, I still think we're good. Still think we're good. I still believed in the team. The only thing we're going to talk about left, guys, is the only bad, the only ugly was Carson Wentz's third quarter. We're not going to mention too much on it. He missed a wide open T.Y. Hilton over the middle, trying to target Michael Pittman. He was wide open. I remember he stepped up in the pocket, had yardage in front of him at the last minute, threw it to Jonathan Taylor, which was already overthrown. Dude, just run the ball. You're already there. Stop making it rocket science. Michael Pittman, again, beat his man, was open, threw it up high like he was 7 feet tall.
Yeah.
Hit the throw. Step into the throw. Those are my only things. The third quarter was bad. Anyone who says he had an awful game clearly did not watch the game. They turned it on after halftime and said, oh, he was bad. No, that wasn't the case. It was only the third quarter, which really had me heated.
Yeah, and he made some plays in the fourth quarter. So whoever's saying that about Carson Wentz is obviously one of those people that I think Carson Wentz, and this is my stance on him also that I didn't even get to share earlier. I think he gets most blame because of past experiences. I think people so used to what he was last year and when he had volatile situations and bad situations in Philly, that's what they remember from him. And they apply it to what he's been this year. And he's the furthest thing from what he was last year, this year. Carson Wentz is nothing like that. Yes, I told Mike earlier, and me and Mike know this because we talk about it. Carson Wentz has moments during the game where you scratch your head like, what are you doing? You know, you yell at the TV. He missed wide open guys sometimes. He missed a check down in that quarter, wide open. If you put the ball on Jonathan Taylor, it's a first down and we're moving the chains. But, you know, those things are going to happen, man. And the reason you notice them more is because you're a fan of the team. If you watch Tom Brady enough, if you're a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan, I have a friend who's a Tampa Bay Buccaneers fan. He point out every miss that Tom Brady makes. He texts the group message, look at Tom Brady missing a guy in a flat again. He sees it differently. You view it differently when you're a fan of that player. You scrutinize him more than anything because you have emotional ties to it. So you're going to overanalyze everything. You're going to talk about the mechanics. He didn't set his feet on that throw. He's not following through on that throw. You know, he's still choppy when he's stepping up in the pocket. You know, you're going to do those things. And you just got to understand, man, Carson's not perfect. He's not the prototypical guy with all the proper footwork and all the proper mechanics. He's just going to be Carson. And y'all have to learn that has to become good enough for you guys. And if it's not, then you're just going to be pissed and have this emotional roller coaster with Carson that I'm refusing to have, man. He's the guy. I'm rolling with him. And that's just is what it is. So that's how I feel about Carson.
There you go. There you go. And I'm not going to harp on this too much, only because he made the play in the fourth quarter that won the game. And, hey, we don't talk about all the stupid throws and the interceptions Patrick Mahomes makes. We throw on the highlights. We throw on those highlights. We don't talk about the overthrows, the underthrows, the pass between the stupid legs that he tries to do, all that stuff. We turn on those touchdown passes, right? So let's turn them on for Carson Wentz. The last thing we're going to talk about, guys, before we get out of here, looking at the playoff picture right now. And boy, is it getting Good. 2 weeks to play. The Colts playoff chances has increased to about 94% after last night's win.
94?
94%. They can clinch by beating Oakland this week. If they beat Oakland, Vegas. If they beat Vegas, I do it too. If they beat Vegas this weekend without it, you don't even have to worry about any other games. Beat Vegas, you're in the playoffs. All right. Win out, you secure the 5th seed. Even like if something crazy were to happen and they lose to Vegas, they would still be the 5th seed because they have a 2-game lead on conference record and the head-to-head tiebreaker against New England, who is right behind them. So they have that going for them. Right now, as it stands, KC, of course, number 1. Tennessee, number 2. Cincinnati, number 3. Buffalo, number 4. Indy, number 5. New England, number 6. Baltimore, number 7. Now, what's interesting about that right now is Miami is playing New Orleans. If Miami wins the game tonight, they will take over the 7th seed, which is, dude, they were 1-7. They were 1-7 and now sitting at 7-7, right in position to get into the playoffs. Why is that important? Colts have a head-to-head tiebreaker on them, so they can't be jumped. They have a head-to-head tiebreaker, and it will take a lot for that to even become a conversation. So right now, as it stands, KC is hot. Cincinnati, whoa. I mean, what a year for Cincinnati fans. The Bengals, the Bearcats, getting ready to upset Alabama this Friday, college football playoff. What a year for them.
Will Anderson said they're the underdogs.
Right. You're the underdog. Preseason number 1, college football playoff number 1, 3-touchdown favorite, Heisman Trophy winner, first-round picks. You're the underdog, dude. Yeah, you're the underdog. Okay, probably to pass your math test, but other than that, it doesn't come on the football field. So let's stop pushing those narratives. Stop saying you're the underdog, all right? Jesus Christ, freaking NFL junior over here. Look, Cincinnati, Jamar Chase, who I loved, who I wanted to go get. Obviously, we didn't get him. Tyler Boyd, T. Higgins, who I wanted the year prior. He is so good. That is a squad. The Bengals, though.
Would it came down to T. Higgins or Michael Pittman, though.
Oh, yeah. When it comes to the Bengals, 1 week you can get them like you got them yesterday, or you can get them when they play the Browns. They're a young team who don't know how to consistently bring that energy yet. They're young and they're going to grow. Would I want to play them? Sure, yeah. Go on their home field, take the run game to them, and let's go.
And their offensive line is still bad. That's going to be their Achilles heel in the playoffs. Their offensive line is really bad.
Definitely. So, hey, I would take that matchup.
Me too.
If we somehow, New England, Buffalo right now, if it ended today, we would be going back to Buffalo to play in a wild card game. Now, honestly, I don't see that even turning into a rivalry. We've played twice in the last 2 years. Won a playoff game, won in a much-needed game. There's just no bad blood there. There's not. There's respect between both sides. There's no fights or anything. We played New England again. Boy, man, put the boxing gloves on instead of football gloves.
Yeah, I think Buffalo being Frank Reich's old team too that plays into it. That plays into his mentality. You know, it'll never go past actual things on the field. But I'm gonna be honest, man. I don't want to play Buffalo again. After what we did them last time, they're the least matchup that I want. I would rather play Tennessee. I would rather play whoever wins the AFC North. I don't want to play Kansas City as well. That's another team I don't want to play.
That's actually interesting because Buffalo, clearly you lost Tre'Davious White. So you lose your top 5 corner in the league. You're not going to have a number 1 over Michael Pittman following or anything. So
that's true. I didn't even think about Tre'Davious White. Yeah.
That is interesting. But right now, just sitting right now, would you consider this team a legitimate Super Bowl contender? If you had to grab, 10 teams or even just grab 6 teams and say, these are the teams I expect. 3 from the AFC, 3 from the NFC. These are the teams I expect to be in the Super Bowl. Right now, would you confidently 100% say Indy is in that 3?
My 3 for the AFC, he's definitely in it. I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. He's one. The AFC, they're 100% in. The only team, like I said, I'm not confident about is the Kansas City Chiefs. They still worry me because of their explosiveness on offense. But other than that, I'm going Colts at number 2, and I'm going Buffalo 3. I'm going Buffalo 3. I'm going
Buffalo.
Colts. Yeah, I'm going Colts. I'm going Buffalo, and I'm going Kansas City in the AFC, and in the NFC, I'm going Green Bay, Tampa Bay, and the Rams.
Yeah, I'll do the same 3. Green Bay, Tampa Bay. Hey, man, this year might be the year for Aaron Rodgers. Might be defense stepping up. I mean, golly, dude. Aaron Rodgers is the most talented person to throw the football. I don't care. I don't care about Patrick Mahomes. I don't care about Tom Brady's accomplishments. This dude is just so talented. He is probably going for another MVP. But staying on the Colts, yeah, they're in my 3 for me. I would probably honestly say the Chiefs, the Colts, and dare I even say the Bengals.
The Bengals? I'm not mad at that.
Because they're streaky, dude. They are streaky.
They are. And
Trey
when
they're
hot.
Trey Hendrickson, coming back, having another 13-sack season. Their defense just flying all over the place. I'll take them. I honestly, right now, I would have the Colts in the AFC Championship game. Now, if things lined up perfectly and they didn't have to travel to Kansas City in the divisional, of course. But, hey, man, it's all going to figure itself out, guys. It is all going to figure itself out. I can't wait. 2 more weeks to go. We will keep you guys up to date with what's going on with the COVID stuff, possible additions, who's still out, all that good stuff, guys. Right now, we're the 5th seed. We're looking like we're going to be the 5th seed. So pay attention who is going to be that number 4, because there is still a 3-team race between, Cincinnati, New England, Tennessee. There's still a race between those guys. So again, guys, this is the Blue Stable Podcast. Thank you for listening. Make sure to comment, like, subscribe on YouTube, rate, review on Apple Podcasts. He is Rashad McGinnis. I am Michael Terrazas. We are sorry we didn't miss you guys last week. Again, it was the holidays. Please understand. But we will have a preview for the Colts and the Raiders. All right, let's close this thing out on a 9-0 run to end the year. Let's end it 9-0. All right.
Crazy.
That would be crazy, and it's going to happen because this team is special. Let's get it. We'll see y'all in Los Angeles for the Super Bowl. See you.
Yes, sir.